Human being have that in common. I mean, love is the higher quest, isn't it? The highest quest.
It's what everybody wants, yes. And to
So,
feel, you can feel a second of love and it can change your life,
hmm.
the right kind of love. And if you don't have that 1 second of it, then it becomes a source of anxiety in your life.
Yeah, but as you said, the first months in your life are crucial. How about kids that have been abandoned? How about, like in Oprah's case, being raped at 6 years old, or how old was she? I mean, that has to have a tremendous consequences on your future, doesn't it? Is that recoverable? I mean, can you overcome it?
Yes, the simple way to put that is yes, because like I work all the time with people who have had real difficulties in their relationships. Like I have a couple that came from out of town here once to spend a day with me. That she was conceived as a rape in a concentration camp just before the end of the Second World War, and raised in a series of kind of crazy circumstances, and yet here's a person who courageously later on in her 50s opens up and finally is able to experience real love for the first time. I mean, when you see that happen, you don't have to see it happen many times in order to realize that, wow, human beings can transcend anything and they can get beyond anything. So I guess my answer to that is I've kind of lived on a steady diet of miracles for 30 years. So you can never convince me that any human being is a hopeless case.
And at any age, I just have the example of somebody around me that's getting married at 67. I guess you've seen some. It can happen anytime. You can fall in love. It's intemporally. I mean, it's intemporary. How do you say that? Temporless.
Uh, yes, and
Timeless.
I appreciate you mentioning that because, like we had a while back, a couple come in and he was 75 and she was 71, and they had been married for 47 years at the time that they came in. And they didn't come in with a big problem they wanted us to help them solve. What they came in for was they realized that now they could put more of their attention into their relationship. And,
Ah.
they had this incredible freedom now that both of them were retired and all of that, that they could spend their time really celebrating their relationship. So they went on to spend, I don't know how many years together, but to me, that's very touching and beautiful when people can say, even at 70, 75 years old, I still want to learn. I want to learn more. I want to learn more about how to love. And, so it really lets you know that you don't have to be sick in order to get better. You
Yeah.
can just start wherever you are and you can get better.
So then, what do you think made that couple a long-lasting relationship then?
Well, I think what happens in life is that life gives you kind of speed bumps, or you hit barriers, or you have some kind of a thing that happens that you can either grow from or contract against. And they had had a big life, one of those big life events. One of their children had died. And, they're, because they were in their 70s, their kids were middle aged, and one of them had gotten cancer and died at in his 40s, and it produced a life crisis for them because they suddenly realized, wow, what is life really all about?
Hmm.
When things can go so wrong like that, and so what can we learn from that? And so one of the things they opened up to was, we want to make our relationship more of a celebration in
Hmm.
every moment. So because you just never know what's going to happen in life. And
Hmm.
so what happens is you take these events of life and you choose to grow from them rather than to contract and wither and pull back against them. And I think it's being open to learning in every moment is what really makes the difference in life, whether it's in business or love or wherever. Are you open to learning what you need to learn? If you are, life can give you a lot of miraculous things very quickly, and you can also move through difficult times much more quickly. But if you're closed to learning, it's kind of like holding up a big kick me sign to the universe, because if you're closed to learning, the universe has no choice but to teach you with a sledgehammer, so to speak. But if
Uh,
you're open to learning, life can tickle you with a feather.
uh-huh. And is that, do you think, a major quality of a creative person? Is that what you added it to the mix of the person that you wanted to attract in your life?
Yes, that's in fact that's very important because like in my recent book, The Big Leap, as well as in earlier books like Conscious Loving, we really put a lot of emphasis on helping people learn how to be open to learning in every moment because every relationship interaction has something in it you can learn from and something in it that you may also want to not learn from. You want to kind of keep it out a lot of times. But the important thing is to embrace things that come at you in life rather than resisting them, because in the act of embracing them, it liberates a kind of creative insight inside that brings a solution oftentimes.
Mm. So really, yeah, people seeking to learn and it definitely creates long-lasting relationship. I hear until you're interested about others, until you're interested to learn about all this, then yeah, it's the communion seems quite hard because then you're already in the known, and then it's not really interesting, is it? But yeah,
No, because the big fun in relationship is being able to be surprised all the time. That's one thing that I really feel happy about in my relationship with Kathleen is that it's like every day she looks more beautiful to me and is more interesting to me. And she was fascinating to me 30 years ago, and she was fascinating to me 15 years ago. But every day she surprises me, and I'm open to being surprised from her. And so what it lends itself to is keeping the passion alive. Because, like today, I feel much, much more passionately engaged with her in every moment than I could have 30 years ago, just because I've had thousands of experiences in coming up against my barriers and moving on through them. And so, right now in our life, and for the past many, many years, it's been just one unfolding delight after the other, even if something terrible is happening. Like I remember one time we got stranded in some little place for 3 days without electricity and stuff like that because of a storm. And I was in the room with this person for 3 days without any food and that kind of thing. And yet she was still the most fascinating person on earth to me when we walked out of there. So I think it's a lot about being open to learning in every moment.
mm, I just love how you speak about her and how you helped each other like unpeel all those layers of things that, I mean, we all have to grow during our lifetime. So if we find a partner that helps us grow, especially if we're into that, it's absolutely fascinating how you can just become this even more full human being. I mean, do you think you would be doing right now what you do without her?
I don't know. I have no idea. It's because
Amazing.
every important thing that's happened in my life over the past 30 years has been because of her and with her. So I can't really conceive of what it would be like without her.
Hmm.
I joke sometimes that if it weren't for her, I'd be living in a small apartment somewhere with nothing on the walls and no decor or anything, because I'm not. When I first met her, I wasn't conscious of things like color or anything like that. Like I had three pairs of brown socks, two pairs of brown pants, three brown shirts, and a brown suit. So it was like I was all one color, and she's really helped me come alive in that regard.
The Bachelor.
Yeah.